Welcome everyone. This is Lucky Kosimang, and welcome to the host. This is a show that hosts young, intelligent, gifted individuals in businesses. And tonight we have a treat for you. We're going to host a young man by the name of Kwena Thema. He is an agri-entrepreneur. He holds masters in animal science. He is soon to be a doctor, and he will help us today to unpack the topic of the night, which is riding the wave in the agricultural market. So, Mr. Kwena, welcome to the plug.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. I'm excited, a little bit nervous, but I'm very happy to be here to speak about something that I love so much that is close to my heart. So thank you. Good evening to everyone who's listening.
Yes. So what I usually do, I know this is my first show, but what I'm going to do, just to introduce yourself and to make the South Africans feel like you're one of them, because they're looking at you and the things that we're going to be speaking about, and they're going to think, oh, this man is from another planet. So what I would ask you to do, what I'm going to ask you to do is to greet our viewers in at least two South African languages: Afrikaans, Setswana, Sizulu, Xhosa. Just to break the ice and people can understand that you are a South African.
I've already said good evening, so mine as one is a. So I'll start with my home language, Tovela, and Dumelang. Yeah. I think, yeah. I can't say Kwena. Kwena is like saying goodbye.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But you are definitely welcome in this house, being part of our show tonight, and we are actually privileged to host you tonight. So I just wanted you to laugh a bit, break the ice, let the people come through so that they can, get more information from you and they can relate with you. So just to get on the show, it's very interesting that I'm speaking to you, for a lack of better word, face to face.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing you for the first time.
Also seeing you for the first time.
Yeah. So welcome, Seth. Yes. Just to jump right into our show, we've got a couple of questions that we'll be asking you to understand you better. I mean, what I just did was to introduce you, but it was just the tip of an iceberg. Because you are a man of many talents. You are a man who has a lot to offer, and you will explain who you are, what you are, where you're from, and what you stand for. So just to get right into it, we would like to know where you're from, who you are, how was your childhood growing up to be, soon to be doctor in your field.
Thank you so much for the opportunity once more. Let me introduce myself again. As you have already said, my name is Kwena Thema. I originate straight from Limpopo, and I grew up at a location called Seshego, where Julius come from, actually, Julius Malema. So I grew up in Seshego. I spent most of my years in Seshego. It's a kasi Limpopo, just outside Polokwane. I spent most of my years there, but I've also spent some of my years with my grandmom at Grants Plus. It's a village also, I think 60, if not an hour away from Polokwane, where I spent time with my grandmom, who actually introduced me to this field of agriculture. And unfortunately, may her soul rest in peace. We just buried her last month, which is good. But she's the one who started everything, who started the desire. We were looking after goats, we were taking care of goats, we would go to drink them water, you know, and she was very strict. And I was raised by both my parents, my dad and my mom, and I was raised a very strict mom. You know, Nedibu blind. Yeah, but I was a little bit naughty. Yeah, so I grew up in Seshego and spent most of my years at Seshego.
So this is where the humble man comes from. Comes from the grandmother's upbringing. Comes from the strict mother that I'm sure really instilled. And I'm sure Nakolenako would, let's not use the words that might get your mom into trouble. But she tried by all means to make you the man that you are today.
Yeah, she gave her best, to birth greatness in me. But one thing that I will never forget, she taught me one thing, to always be content, and I never had problem with not having enough, because she taught me that, if you don't have anything, that means I don't have it also, because I will always give you the best, and it helped me so much growing up. Even when I see other children having other stuff, it never bothered me because I knew that whatever that I have, my mom gave it to me and my dad gave it to me. So whatever that I don't have is tough luck, but it brought me a lot of contentment at a very early age.
That's a beautiful way to be raised, and you are a grounded person. I spoke to you last night, and I could feel it in your voice. That is why I was just alluding earlier on that I'm meeting you in person for the first time, and just from our conversation last night, you could sense that I'm here speaking to a man who's very humble, he might be coming from humble beginnings, but humble beginnings really, played a role in making him so grounded. And I like the fact that you from Kasi, you were not.
I'm from a Kasi, like very dusty street of Sio. By then, we didn't even have many roads that were proper, but it was good. There is no better feeling that can beat my childhood. I enjoyed everything, I must say.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Getting to growing up in Kasi and with the environment that is negatively looked at, you had to go to school, and to be where you are. I like looking at you in the future. That is why I always refer to you as doctor, because I feel like putting that word candidate, PhD candidate, it's not doing you much justice, because you have put in a lot of work. So just tell us a bit more about your schooling, about your educational background.
I usually start with my preschool. I don't know why. I think it's because of the name of my preschool. A good friend of mine usually laugh. When we are having our bad English days. I usually remind them of where I come from. So I started my school at a preschool called Ngwana Mujela. I don't even know the meaning. But I usually emphasize it so much because it played a huge role in the person that I am. So I went to a in Kasi called Ngwana Mujela. So I didn't go to a little what high school or little what medium English what. So I went to Ngwana Mujela. Then from there I went to Mashupetadi Primary School, which is also show, where what we would be of children going to town. Those who were going to town will be chasing their buses, but it was fun. Went to a primary school called Mashupetadi, where I did my primary school from grade R to grade 7. So from there, I went to an agricultural high school called Kushki Agricultural High School. I think it's where everything started to burn seriously in me, where the desire started to channel to the right direction. So I went to Kushki Agricultural School, which I started in 2005. I was doing grade 8. Oh, by the way, I'm 29 years. I was born in 1991. So yes, I started my grade 8 in 2005. I was doing grade 8, and I did my matric in 2009 at Kushki Agricultural High School, where I was staying at hostel. It was very great. One of the proper schools that I enjoyed so much. So the hostel environment taught us a lot. Taught us to be independent as a person. That's why even when you go to tertiary levels, there are a lot of things you knew how to live alone. You knew how to survive alone. It's not a train smash when you get alone to tertiary level. So after graduating, I went. I know this is so funny. I wanted to go to the University of Bloemfontein, which I went. I applied to the University of Free State and got accepted for BCom in agricultural economics. And getting to Bloemfontein. And the other thing I like about my parents, they from Polokwane to Bloemfontein, it's not just around the corner. It's a long trip. It's far. So they packed a big bag for me. They didn't even take me halfway. They just took me to the bus stop. They were like, what? It's cool. And they said to me again, what? Go there and make us proud. And everything again, contentment came again, and they told me that everything that you need, we gave you. Everything that is in this, that's the best that we can give you. So I went with the mentality that my parents, my family gave me the best. So yes, I went to the University of Free State in 2010 World Cup in 2010. When I got there, it was just a disaster, But my sister was also my sister called Thema was attending at CAD, so she could receive me at the other end. So she received me, and I went and going to register at the University of Free State, and I didn't have rest. And getting there, seeing the classrooms or the lecture rooms, it was very challenging, because at Kushki, the class we were around 20 something, So, but there, it was like a stadium, everyone, we were full, and it was very intimidating, I must say, And I think I attended only for a week at DOFs, and God being God, I got a bursary from the Limpopo Department of Agriculture. They gave me on Friday, like the whole week I was tortured at DOFs, speaking different language, getting big textbooks, from grade 12. It was
it was quite a journey.
Yeah, it was torturing. So, but
just to add on what you're saying, what you're saying quickly. I mean, for you to highlight your challenges very, very early in our conversation, it really shows me that challenges were there, and I can imagine. I don't know if people understand that from Limpopo to Bloemfontein, you get onto the N1, and you have to drive for more than 700 kilometers to get to your destination with the bus. That's long hours as it is to introduce you to a world that you don't know, to a world that turned out to be very challenging for you. And like you said, by the grace of God, you got a bursary, and I guess that's when you started studying your undergrad.
Yes. I got a bursary from the Department of Agriculture Limpopo, which took us to Mafikeng, to the Northwest University, and Bloemfontein to Mafikeng, from a big city to Mafikeng. So it was a relief, when I got here. People were welcoming, and Setswana is not. It's not that it does not differ much with Seped, So I gelled. So I registered BSc in animal health in 2010, which was very interesting. So from 4-year program, from there, animal health, it's more about preventing of diseases and controlling diseases, treating them, helping veterinary, anything related to the health of animals, that's us. And after completing it, I just felt I was very young, and I fell in love with animal science. Animal science, most people usually ask, what's the difference between animal science and animal health? So science is more of production, breeding, genetics, nutrition. So I felt that their combination would make something awesome, So yes, I did animal science, and it was because this one I paid for myself. The university told me that, you're gonna have to spend 3 years, And looking at the situation, I went to the director's office. I told him that, 3 years is a lot. I cannot afford to pay for 3 years. So she said, we have these modules for you, and they are going to clash. But if you are eager, you can do it. So they compressed all the modules, the whole BSc, to be 2 years of animal science. And believe you me, that's something I would never want to remember. It was very challenging. When that you're attending downstairs, other students are attending upstairs, and some lecturers go, they never saw you. They were like, are you doing this module? You're like, you guys will not understand. To cut the story short, I managed, by God's grace, I managed to complete in 2 years. So 2016, I started my master's. So I was able to study my master's. My master's was mainly about finding alternatives to antibiotics, growth promoters, So most, they are antibiotics in the feed of chickens, So they are to be resistant both to the birds and to us. You find that sometimes you are sick, but when you drink antibiotic, you are not responding. It's because of you have consumed too much antibiotic through eating a lot of chicken. So my master's was mainly about finding alternatives to antibiotics, which by also I also managed to complete, and I started my PhD last year. And now
let's hold it there. Let's hold it there. Now you are in Mafikeng.
Yes.
A very small. It's a city. It's a very small city compared to probably Bloemfontein and Limpopo.
Yes.
Or rather, let's say Polokwane. Very small. I would like to think that gave you a sense of relief. That actually God is great. I'm here, and I'm not struggling as I did, with the a couple of months that you spent for Bloemfontein.
Yes.
Right. So as you, I like your story. As you think you are relieved from one problem, you step into another one. And it's very interesting to see how life unfolds, because now, before you get to your PhD, I want us to talk about how I see the connection between your stream and your education and your upbringing. I would like to think your grandmother instilled the love for goats, love for taking care of animals, to a point where you decided to do your master's in what you did.
Yes.
Yes. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. So growing up both in Ekasi and sometimes going holidays in villages, and it was very, very fun. It's one thing that I would want to deprive myself of. And I think the other person who played a huge part in my upbringing is my dad. He
Yeah.
he loves agriculture so much, and my uncle Rangwanaga. They just, I think we just grew up in a family where they liked agriculture. When you grow up, you listen to the type of the story your elders are telling you. It
Yes.
says, those stories, they have a secret meaning if you can just sit, think of them properly. If your granny tells you, we used to do this, we used not to do this, somehow they're teaching you something, somehow they are giving you direction of where you should go. So I
That
think
is
we,
true.
a lot of stories, they told us how their fathers loved animals, how their fathers loved agriculture in general, how they used to farm. Every rainy season they will go out and farm their own food. And if agriculture wants someone who's not lazy, and my father
Yeah.
usually said, what, if usabereka, I'm just gonna put it in my language. Are
Yeah.
ditšhila tša thaka tša gago. Like if you don't work, like you will
Mm.
eat. I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. It sounds nice when you put it in Veneg, You
Yes. Yes.
of your peers,
Yeah.
if you can't.
That is true.
Agriculture is one thing
Yeah.
that to sweat. You need to sweat,
It wants you
and
to sweat.
you can't be part of it when you are lazy. So I think those
Which,
are
which yes.
that
Which
they
gets to my other question, that as a very hardworking person that you are academically, now where does the passion, where does the love now of you being an academic and you loving agriculture? I heard a very powerful term that really made me go into the internet, and I said, what is this agri entrepreneur? And that's what you are, that's who you are. Where did the love come from, and what are you doing?
Okay, I think I will just go straight to answering the agri entrepreneur. Remember, in the past, they used to farm. Like, let's say you farm cows and you are milking your cows, and I'm
Mm.
farming. We would trade. So that you can have maize, I can have milk, and if someone will farm beans, we would come together, and that was called subsistence farming. Like to farm only for the household and sell the remaining. So one thing that pushed me to study and to like agri entrepreneur is that now we are trying to, agriculture is also evolving. We are trying to remove the stereotype from people. Every time when people see agriculture, they're expecting to see a dirty person. The
Yeah.
youth, they be part of it. They don't want to associate themselves with agriculture because of that stigma of, the moment you're in
Mm.
you are forever dead. So
Mm.
that's why I wanted to balance the two. I wanted to farm, but at the same time, I also wanted to be an academia. To show that, to
Yeah.
mix the, and studying alone is also not enough. You need to sit under farmers so that you can mix the knowledge so that they can give you something nice. So agribusiness,
Mm.
when you are able to farm or produce something and be able to make business out of it.
Yeah.
I think that's how I can summarize it. Or now we are trying to encourage people that we must not just farm for fun or just to satisfy
Yeah.
our desire, but we should be
Mm.
able to produce something, because the moment we farm and we are able to sell, it's boosting the economy. So yeah, I think
Yes.
in a evolution to encourage people that in your farming there must be business. You must not just farm to say, I have 100 cattle. You should be able to it. So yeah, I think
That
agribusiness is that being able to produce and being able to sell. Yeah.
Being able to sell, which is something that you do on a daily basis, and which is something that is generating money for you as an individual, because I mean we cannot live without making a living.
Yeah.
And by the looks of it, I can see that you're making a living. I can just see it in your face. Um, so where did the love for business start? Because now I can map together where the love for animals come from. But now where does the love, the inspiration of getting into business, where does it come from?
Okay. I'm a director of this company called Lavradone. It was
Yeah.
birthed in 2015, if not 16, with my friends. We were sitting at rest and just chatting, looking at our future, looking at everything happening. Then we decided, guys, I think it's best, since we studied agriculture and we love agriculture. Let's start this thing. Let's start businesses in agriculture. Then we registered a cooperative called Lavrador, and here's the catch, and very challenging, that a lot of people make a mistake of doing. I said we were at rest. We didn't know of things out there. The way we were so determined. Sometimes determination, it's not enough alone. So we were so eager to start the business, to start the agribusiness. But the moment campus and go to the ground to start the business, it's not a child's play. Not that I encourage people to start business, but it was challenging, because when we're having meetings with my directors, we usually talk about the perfect world. That when you're sitting alone, you would say, I'm gonna sell 10 chickens. Next year, when I start businesses, I'm selling 10 chickens. It's those things will give you courage. But the moment when you get out, you don't even know the resources. You don't know how expensive the resources are. You just feel you're gonna get funding. Hey, this way, it lost a lot of people. The word funding. But later. So that was our route. We thought, from here we're gonna get funding, and after getting funding, starting a multi-agricultural company. We'll do the layers, we'll do the boilers, we'll do dairy. That was the oomph that we had. But when we got there, it was another thing I forgot to mention. We said we are not gonna be employed. We're gonna employ ourselves and do this thing. But it was not a child's play, I must say. It was very, very challenging, to a point where we had a meeting again. You know what, guys? Someone needs to work. No one can just fund your dream.
True.
No one can just fund your dream. From someone needs to work and bring money to the company. Because now when I do a business with flow, it's a problem. So we didn't have cash flow, we didn't have anything, but we had ideas and degrees and certificates. So even those degrees, they were not enough to start a business. So I think one thing that sustained us, in which will sustain you in agribusiness, is the love and desire of what you're doing. Because you can say you're gonna sell all 10 chickens and they all die, but if you don't have the desire, you're gonna quit. Or if you don't get funding, you're gonna quit. So, but we thank NYDA. I think it's one part that us. They funded us 50,000 in 2017, and I think 2020. It was exciting, believe me. From an empty pocket, 50,000. It was a lot of money. Until we went to buy things. We went to buy things. But we managed to build a farmhouse. We managed to get ourselves fence, and we managed to start doing something on the farm.
Oh, that is a beautiful story. It's a story that actually a lot of
Yes.
young South Africans can resonate with, and they need to understand as well. This is the whole point of this show, is to show that adversities will be there in businesses. How you overcome them is very important, and not our degrees, our passion won't
Oh,
be
Mazeko
enough.
digging.
Our passion won't be enough to get us to where we want to be, and that's what you just alluded right now. How is your business, how is it doing in a general sense, in a broader sense of things, and how did you maneuver, how did you find those little opportunities that COVID tried to close or tried to affect your business in a negative way?
Okay, I think it's the never dying spirit because, as I've already told you, that with agribusiness, you can never have a proper plan.
Yeah.
Things happen. So I think what kept us going it's actually the desire and the love. And at the moment, we're at least able to produce around 500 broilers every fortnight.
Oh,
And yeah, and the goats, we have a good breeding stock now. I think we are around 60 ewes that we breed them. And the main thing is just to encourage a good goat in rural areas, bring good genes in, so that farmers around can be encouraged. And it's been coming very well. We are able to sell good rams around. We are able to sell ewes that are good, and even people who do this traditional with goats, we are able. They are our market. They buy a lot of goats. And yeah, so I think so far we are doing fairly well, but that's not where we want to be, honestly. And yeah, we're just hoping for the best. I think with COVID, the only thing that helped us in agriculture, you don't have to be stereotyped. We said, as much as we studied animal science, animal health, it would be good to do mixed farming. So now that's what I'm actually canvassing, that people should do mixed farming. When you do your goat and cattle, you should have a small garden. Because to me, animals are investment, and a vegetable garden can keep your cash flow going. So we are able to do the cash flow. They are able to make everyday life easier. Because the main thing is to keep selling. So I think, and just to give you an example, a tray of 1,000 spinach, is around 600 seedlings. It's around 600, and if you are able to plant, it's around 600 something, 1,000 seedlings. And if you are able to plant all of them, spinach is something that continually grows. So it have good returns. So that's what I'm saying. I want to encourage the upcoming farmers to think of mixed farming. When you are crop, think of animal as investment. So that's how our bank works in agriculture.
I like how you think about your business and just farming in general, in a sense that for a lack of better word, that's diversifying. You're not putting all your eggs into one basket and think things will always be good. And
Yes.
just batho ba seke ba re ke ba tima spinach. Spinach sa gago se monate. They must know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
COVID has affected everyone, and I like how because you diverse your farming. That's how you could survive in a period like this, which is very brilliant. Which really shows that in this agri-business, it's not just about plowing, it's about strategy, it's about planning for the future, which is something that our viewers or whoever wants to get into farming must think about as well. Be strategic in trying to mitigate risks, even those risks that that you don't know might happen, like COVID. And to get to our question, when I looked at this question about future plans, I was looking at you as being one of the conglomerates, one of the big agri business or agricultural businesses in this country. I mean, this country has companies like Tiger Brands, and they're doing what you're doing. This country has big companies like Rainbow Chicken, every day. If you look at Clover Holdings, those are the markets that you want to penetrate, and you want to be a big player in those. And I'm hoping that that's your plan. But
Yeah,
but authentic and not doing what everybody's doing.
definitely, definitely. There's this guy, this good friend of mine, who wants to install this idea or this fighting spirit in me. His name is Hotelevere. That guy once told me that this company is either they're gonna partner with us or we are chucking them out of the market. So that's the big idea. That's the whole plan. That we want to get there. We'll be very very strategic. Until those companies you mentioned call us, that means there's nothing we are doing. They need to feel the heat. They need to feel that we are here. I don't usually like to mention this BEE thing or black farmers or what. I believe in fairness. I don't want you to give me something because I'm black. I don't want you to after achieving something, I want it to on merit. So then I'm saying it's about time. I'm not gonna say black farmers or all young farmers, who are listening or who are interested, to push hard, to push hard. No matter how, when something is hard, that means you are going somewhere. So I'm really having big dreams, until those guys, until you take those guys and they call us that guys, we want to partner with you, we see that you guys are serious, that means we have been started. So at the moment we have not started. It was just warm up.
It is warm up.
So we are going to start the units big. We wanna, the good thing about agriculture, unlike mining, not in a bad way, a mine comes to a point where it closes because it can't produce anymore. But with agriculture, there's no way. People have to eat, 3 times a day, So agriculture will never close. Agriculture will never close. So we are ready. We are really ready to fight food security. And it's fulfilling to see people eating because of you. That's the fun part of agriculture. The moment people are eating KFC and you know that you are the one who produced that chicken, it gives another level of fulfillment. So I think we are looking for such moments and fight security.
Yeah, I like how your passion is what drives you, and that is what I'm hearing from your voice. And it's funny because I was about to get to a point where I say, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs out there who want to get into this space of agriculture? Not only agriculture, but to be entrepreneurs in this country, in this world. What would you say?
Yeah, I think with agribusiness, it's, as you have started to introduce, that you need to have a lot of desire, and desire alone is not enough. We you you need to see results in agriculture. all business, effort it's not enough. What matters are results. So I think we spend a lot of time, with doing other stuff and with a lot of efforts and not seeing results. When you are doing in business, you are doing something, or you are in business and you don't see results, change the way you are doing it. Change the way you are doing it, or come with innovations, of how to improve it. Like we with COVID, as I've already said, we felt, or now since we are going to deliver at home, how about we put a spinach on top? It was a good return for us. So I just want to say to all the entrepreneurs that results matters. Sometimes you can do something and put a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of money, and if you don't see results, it's a problem. You need to do the introspection. So my bottom line will come back to results. The main thing in business is the results. So you can spend the whole day or whole night, doing other stuff, but results matters the most. So I think with agriculture, don't start, as I know it might not make sense. Don't join agriculture because of money, because you'll be very disappointed. If you just enter for the sake of money, it's gonna be very dangerous for you. Because as I've already given an example with you, that in the perfect world, in agriculture, we have a lot of things can go wrong. A disease can come in. You can have a disease coming in and all your chickens die, or all your spinach doesn't grow well, and you don't make anything out of it. That's one thing that will keep you going is the love for agriculture. Even after not getting results, we continue.
Yeah.
I think it's the love in agriculture. Don't enter because of money. Enter because of the zeal. You have everything to put in energy. You can believe you me. You can put around 500 beds and you get only 100 at the end of the cycle. So I would say don't join agriculture because of money. Join because you love. Because if you don't have that strength, the love, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it. So we encourage people to join us, but not because of money. We want them to join us because they have the zeal to feed the nation. Those are right. Because if you have the zeal to feed nation, even if you don't produce, go and where it went wrong, and you rectify and you try. So that's what I'm going to say to all the upcoming farmers, that guys, come, we are ready for you. And the one thing about farming, we are not in competition. With us, I usually when I'm speaking to farmers, that with farming, when one farmer win, we all win. You can be my neighbor and we all plant spinach. If your spinach do well, I'm going to come to you and say, my friend, how are you doing it? And you tell me that, what, I poured crawl manure, and I'm gonna put it, because our aim is not competition. Our aim is to feed the nation. Our aim is to encourage the youth to join us. So with farming, we're not in competition. When one farmer win, we all win.
That is so beautiful, and in a nutshell, you hit the nail on the coffin. Because people must understand that yes, it's about the passion, but they should be it must be a purpose-driven passion. I liked what you say, that you're in a business of feeding people, but not the business of feeding people in a sense of money. Feeding people to see people thriving and seeing people surviving and being fed is the end goal of your business. And those are the key elements maybe we can take from this conversation that I just had with you, that have the passion, have the love, have the desire, but most importantly, as a farmer, you must have that zeal to feed the nation, and that is very important. Like Africans would say, two is better than one. So
Yes,
you touched on it, that this is not a competition, but this is a collaboration. So working together will feed the whole world, and
yes.
that is the whole point. Just to wrap it up, I would assume that you are living in these times of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Where do you flex?
Yeah, no, I'm there, all of them. I have all the platforms. I have Instagram. It's Thema Kwena at Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Kwena Thema.
Mhm.
Then Twitter, it's Kwena, then underscore TH.
Ah, yes. In a nutshell, we can just say goodbye to our viewers. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for you guys for having me first. It was really awesome, to share the little information that I know. And the viewers, I can't wait to go with you. I hope I'll also have questions for you, so that we can go together. It was an interesting field, and yeah, we are ready for all those that to join us. We were excited. It's very exciting, fulfilling, yeah. So I hope the best to listening.
Yes. People of the plug, ka Setswana ba re, kgetsi ga e nke e tlala. So we want to thank Kwena for joining us and unpacking our topic today of riding the wave in the agricultural markets. With that being said, ke a leboga. Re tla bonana gape mo bekeng e tlang.
Thank you.
Thank you.